Mackenzie Shirilla's text messages after the deadly crash that left two young men dead shed a whole other light on this case. So we're going to break down the conversations that she had after this incident that would ultimately see her behind bars, and more details from a police report that gives us a better understanding of this investigation. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Now, if you're watching this and you're into content creation or you're putting things out on social media, you might be wondering, how do we get all these clips out there so quickly? Well, we use something called Opus Clip. This is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it so easy to cut, create, and upload videos across any platform. Through AI, Opus Clip generates B-roll, it reframes footage, and it even cleans up audio. It is so easy. You just visit opus.pro/sidebar, you sign up, you upload, and in minutes you will have perfectly edited clips ready to go for TikTok, Shorts, Reels. Opus Clip is really your one-stop shop, and having a tool like Opus Clip means that our producers can get you viral courtroom updates instantly. This is the most powerful tool there is to share ideas and edit like a pro. So go to opus.pro/sidebar to get a free week and then 50% off. You know, I say text messages are sometimes such powerful evidence because once a message is sent, it can be very hard to argue that you didn't send it or you didn't mean what you wrote. And that is why I want to address right now the communications in the Mackenzie Shirilla case. We have been covering all aspects of the young woman who was found guilty by a judge in a bench trial back in 2023 of 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of drug possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools, all in connection with the July 31st, 2022 car crash that killed her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and their friend, Davion Flanagan. Dominic was 20, Davion was 19. Now, the 17-year-old, Shirilla at the time, mashed down the accelerator, never tried to brake, this is according to investigative reports, sailed over a curb, through a business sign, into a brick wall. Now, Shirilla has insisted that ever since she has no memory whatsoever of the crash or the minutes leading up to it, which we'll get into, because she and her family have suggested that she has a diagnosis of POTS. It's a medical condition that can cause dizziness or fainting, so they claim Shirilla must have blacked out, which is why she drove off the road. Shirilla's mother even testified at the bench trial that she'd seen her daughter exhibit symptoms of POTS, but the defense never called a medical examiner to testify that Shirilla actually has the condition, so it didn't seem to convince the judge. And by the way, there was no evidence of a car malfunction, there was no evidence of intoxication from drugs or alcohol. Shirilla, she was arrested several months after the tragedy, so in November of 2022, and after her 2023 trial, she was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole starting in 2037. But Shirilla and her family have continued to maintain that she's innocent, and this includes in her first on-camera interview from behind bars in a new documentary on Netflix called The Crash. For example, she told the documentary's producers, "I'm not a monster, I'm not saying I'm innocent, I was a driver of a tragedy, but I'm not a murderer." When asked about a relationship with Dominic, which we're going to explore in a little bit more, "We would have probably been married by now. We argued, we got back together, we broke up, we got back together. It was rocky, but it was good. We were in love." And then she added, when it was revealed that her attorney was reportedly right there in the room next to her during this interview on tape, which she did again from behind bars, she added, quote, "I'm big on the no intent. There was no intent whatsoever there. I have excessive amounts of remorse for Dominic, Davion, both of their families. This was not intentional, and I will do everything I can to prove that to the world and the families, and that's it." I give all that backstory to talk now about text messages. When you go to this phone records document, which is, by the way, up on Law&Crime Plus, our app, you go to the case files section. We have a whole section for Mackenzie Shirilla on all the documents if you want to do a deep dive into the case. What you see, for example, are multiple attempts by Mackenzie Shirilla to contact what appears to be members of the Russo family, particularly Dominic's mother. So this is after the crash, again, before she was arrested in November of 2022. So for example, in August, so this is just a short time after the crash, Shirilla writes, apparently in reference to Dom's funeral, "I love you so much, Miss Russo. I'm sorry for being on FaceTime, made you guys upset. I just needed to see if he looks so peaceful, and thank you guys for putting pictures of me. I'm so sorry, you guys. I wish I could be there to hug you. I love you all so much, and I'm so sorry." "I'm so sorry, Miss Russo. I love you all so much. I'm so sorry that this happened. I miss him so much. I wish I could be there for you guys. I will always be here for you, and when I'm out of the hospital, I can take care of you whenever you need." And then she talks about what she wants to put in his coffin. I tried to ask Angelo, but would you be able to go in Dom's room and go into his bedroom and on his back desk and grab some stuff to put in his coffin? I just wanted to be with him. And she seemed to be very aware that she needed to be careful and not cross any lines with this family, because look at this message from August 9th. Just let me know if you want me to stop bothering you. I will always be here when you're ready to talk. And remember, she's still in the hospital after the crash recovering. For example, this one from September 23rd, I don't want to bother you and I feel bad for asking. If you guys are doing something for Dom's birthday and you don't want me to come, are you going to go to the grave and maybe we can meet there or something? I'm sorry. And it goes into October. Again, a month before her arrest, she's still reaching out. And a big theme is, why do people hate her? If you don't hate me, I don't understand why they all hate me. And after there's an exchange about Instagram, again, maybe Dom's mother, Mackenzie writes back, I know I could help you if you want to, but I was just telling you I don't understand why they hate me if you don't hate me. I'm really stressed out about people moving my things or making it look different than it was when Dom lived there, because I think they had been living together. My top priority is just being able to go inside of that house and just be there for the day. It hurts that everybody but me is allowed in the house. It already hurts seeing all of his friends there at night spending time with you, but it hurts even worse seeing I'm the only one not allowed in his house that I spent the most time in. I just don't get why everybody has to hate me. It just makes me hate myself even more. I wish everybody would just not hate me. I really can't tell if you hate me or not. I feel like if you didn't hate me, you wouldn't let me come over or be there for you, or you would tell everybody that they shouldn't hate me, but I feel like you just don't like me, and I wish you would just tell me so I could stop bugging you. The response back is, this is all emotional. I can't tell anyone to do anything. I don't hate you. Gosh, I'm having a tough time with just not having my son. The response back from Shirilla is, you can't tell them to, but you could tell them that you don't hate me, and it's hard for me to. I'm also having a tough time. He was the love of my life, and I spent my last 4 years every day with him pretty much. I just don't understand why I'm the only one not allowed inside of his house. I know he wouldn't want this. I didn't just lose Dom, lost my whole other family, and that's you guys. Now, there were several times during the course of these communications where the conversation circles back to what exactly happened that night, and that Shirilla claims she can't remember. For example, Shirilla was asked, what made you start speeding? Shirilla responds, I don't remember the accident. All I remember is turning on the street and then my vision fading into black. I wish I could remember it. Would make me feel a little bit better. So this is a message from Christine Russo, again, Dominic's mother, to Shirilla. It says, I would do anything to have you both with me like before, but you need and you have to understand how one feels about this. Your driving killed my son, their brother, and their best friend. No one has any answers about why this accident occurred and why you drove directly into a building which resulted in 2 young men dying. It was not an ordinary car accident. If it was, we would not be having this conversation. Shirilla responds, I didn't know you felt that way. I hope you would know I would never do this on purpose. I needed him more than anybody on this earth. He was my everything. The response back, I was explaining to you why it's difficult for things to try to be normal as they never will be. It still never answers what happened that night. Shirilla responds, I wish I could remember just as much as you want to know why. It kills me not being able to remember, because if I could help, I would. I wasn't asking for life to be normal. It's never going to be the same for me either. And then I got to read you this one where Shirilla responds, I did not do this on purpose. If I knew any of this would happen, I would have made sure it was me that died. I would think you would understand, but good to know that you think it's all my fault. I do understand that nothing is ever going to be the same. We're in the same boat. We both lost extremely important people to us. Then there's another part that says, everybody's life is hell. Everybody is broken over this. It's not just you and Angelo, and I wish I could take that pain away from you guys and just make it so it's only me. I try so hard to tell you guys that I would never do this on purpose, and I thought you would know that. Then there's this one. Could you please try to help me get people to see that I didn't do this on purpose? Seriously hurts my soul that anyone thinks that, and I can't sleep knowing that. This is from October 14th. And then it also says, I don't want to lose any more of my family. There's a message to Shirilla that says, no one says that directly. I just said, looking from the other side, it's hard to explain anything when you said you don't remember any of it. And then Shirilla responds, I know everybody thinks that though, especially Angelo and I care so much about him, even though he hates me. You guys are my family. I've just been having a rough couple days. I'm trying really hard to talk to everybody. There's this one. Can we please just try to fix this? All I know is it's never going to be the same, but I want to be able to come spend time with you guys. I wish I could bring you guys closer or tell you what happened. If I could remember anything, I would tell you. Now she's asked, what's the last thing you remember? I remember turning onto the street and then my vision fades to black. It really kills me not being able to remember anything. I promise you I would tell you. I've been asking my therapist why I don't remember, and she said it's because of trauma, but I'm gonna try to go get hypnotized and make myself remember. And what's interesting also is how much in these conversations she talks about how much she loves Dom. So Shirilla writes at one point, life is just gonna be effed up. He was just someone that did something for all of us and made us all feel loved and protected in a special way. He had a really certain soul that was like no other. I've never met anybody that was like him, and he grew so much in our relationship, it just hurts. He was a mama's boy. He would literally be there for you no matter what. And then there's this one. Our relationship was getting so real, like I felt like we were going to get married soon, and it's just so bleeped. Now, speaking of text messages, the text messages between Shirilla and Dominic are included in investigative paperwork. And I just want to take a look. I want to focus on a conversation that happened just 4 weeks before Dom's death. So this looks like he was trying to end things, even writing, there isn't very much time on earth. Quote, Kenzie, you know I love you, but I don't think we should be together at this point. There isn't very much time on earth, you know. I'd like to think we could stop fighting, but it's a breakup fight every week. Neither of us deserve that. I don't want to fight all the time. I know you don't either. Anyone who's around anyone every day of the week is bound to fight. If we can't separate for a little, then we're only going to fight more. I don't want you to think I'm abandoning you. I wish it could work, but I don't think it's going to at this point, especially with the threats. We should just break up so we can both find happiness somewhere else. And that text was followed up by another one just a few hours later, asking Shirilla if she wants to try to work things out. Now there's another document, a police department document that lays out essentially the whole timeline of this investigation. It's up on Law&Crime Plus, the app as well. And a part of that are these text messages between Shirilla and Christine Russo. Now we believe, again, this to be Dom's mother, not his sister, who share the same name, but I'm gonna read you these exchanges. So January 30th, 2021, Mackenzie writes, Dom is texting me being really crazy, so please keep an eye on him. I'm worried AF. January 31st, 2021. Mackenzie writes, I didn't mean to make him flip out. I just can't take him yelling at me all night and all day. Russo responds, I know, you should have just hugged him. March 5th, 2022, Russo writes, hey, just go home. Avoid any conflict, please. You can call me. Mackenzie writes, I'm Jay waiting to talk to him. Russo responds, they just left. It's going to be a while. You should respect his space while he's gone. Russo says, I asked you to leave. You should have respect and left. Mackenzie writes, he's home now. July 2nd, 2022. So this is right before the crash, only a few weeks before the crash, right? July 2nd, 2022. Russo writes, don't fight, just leave, take a break. Mackenzie writes, I already left Dom, need some therapy, he's so mean. July 17th, 2022. Mackenzie writes, can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway trying to spin out my car and hurt me. Mackenzie writes, I'm scared to drive because it's raining, so I just need him to get picked up. If he doesn't get out of my car, I'm calling my dad, so please tell him to get out. Russo responds, Hench is on his way. Calm down for now, please. Mackenzie writes, TBH, to be honest, I can't calm down when he just tried to end my life. Mackenzie writes, then he lied to you about it. Russo writes, I'm just trying to diffuse for now. I'm not mad at anyone. Mackenzie says, I don't think he's capable of that when he keeps telling me to shut up and to duct tape my mouth. Mackenzie says, I don't feel safe. He's also threatening to blackmail me to my mom. He's not getting out. He also blocked me so I can't go pick up any of my belongings at his house. I hope this is a learning experience for him on what not to do to women because I really don't think he knows how to treat them all. Russo responds, stop the fighting and stop lying. When he gets his things, you can get yours. Mackenzie says, first of all, I'm not lying about anything. Maybe you shouldn't take his word so seriously. You don't know how he treats me behind closed doors. It's never okay to try to end somebody's life or put their hands on people. Russo responds, no one should touch anyone. No fighting for sure in the car. He never put his hands on you. Mackenzie says, you need to tell him that. He tried to end my life today and told me, do you want to die? Mackenzie writes, I almost hit the wall and I could have died. So eerily, very eerie considering what happened only a few weeks later. Russo responds, And you haven't blackmailed him with the cops 100 times? But when police followed up with Hench, the friend who picked up Dom during that early July incident, Dom claimed it was Shirilla who threatened to crash the car. And that was relayed to police in an interview with it saying, quote, I asked Russo about a text message exchange with Mackenzie dated July 17, 2022. At approximately 12:45 hours, Mackenzie asked Russo to pick up Dominic from her car, which was stopped at the side of an unknown highway. Mackenzie claimed Dominic had grabbed her steering wheel in an attempt to spin out the car and hurt her. Russo explained that Mackenzie always blamed Dominic for whatever issues were going on between them. She further added that Dominic called her and calmly asked her to come pick him up because Kenzie is being crazy. She's threatening to crash the car on the highway. Christopher Martin, who goes by Hench, picked up Dominic that day. He was identified by Russo as a friend of Dominic. And several other witnesses talked about Shirilla's driving, including a friend Kelly, who had been with Shirilla, Dom, and Davion at a party before the crash. Quote, when I asked her if she had ever been in the car with Mackenzie as the driver, she said no. Kelly mentioned that her friend Tess had told her that Mackenzie sucked at driving. Kelly believed Tess was someone who knew Mackenzie very well. And then there's this interview with Paul Burlinghouse, the friend who'd hosted the get-together. Quote, next, I inquired whether Paul had ever been a passenger in Mackenzie's car while she drove. He said, I've refused a ride from Mackenzie. When asked why, he said because she was a bad driver. He further explained that she got in fights while driving. He listed an incident between Mackenzie and her neighbor who confronted her about running a stop sign. Paul said he used to see Mackenzie zipping through Pearl Road after school. Paul said he refused rides from Mackenzie because he was not stupid and did not want to put himself in a situation he wouldn't want to be in. Paul mentioned Rosie, who was one of Mackenzie's passengers, told him, don't go in the car with Kenzie, it's not good. And it turns out that Shirilla's Snapchat account was a treasure trove of information. The investigators compiled more than 130 videos or images that were related to Shirilla's driving. I mean, the report states, for example, Mackenzie is driving while simultaneously recording herself on Snapchat. A person in the driver's seat recorded a Snapchat video of the vehicle traveling at 90 miles per hour. Multiple videos exist of Mackenzie recording herself while driving without wearing the seatbelt over her shoulder. In others, the seatbelt is visible under her armpit. Mackenzie records the speedometer of the vehicle she's operating, traveling at 93 miles per hour. So again, when you look at this in the context of what happened to her, what happened to Dominic, what happened to Davion, it's just chilling, to say the least, right? And one of the aspects of the case that is getting a lot of attention is Shirilla's behavior after the crash, appearing to essentially live her life in a way where the argument was it didn't seem like she cared what happened. For example, here's what a police narrative says about trying to speak with Shirilla in the hospital. This is along with her dad, Steve, and her mom, Natalie. Quote, the three of us returned to the room. Mackenzie was conscious and alert. Goes on to say, I explained to all three the details of the search warrant and the basic nature of the investigation. Steve asked about video surveillance from the crash itself. I also informed them that SPD will be downloading the data from the Toyota's event data recorder pursuant to another search warrant. Natalie then inquired about the location of the Toyota. At some point, Mackenzie interrupted and addressed her mom in a language that I did not understand. Her mother replied, you can, indicating that she understood what Mackenzie had said. Mackenzie then turned to me and stated, take my whole license away for 10 years or something like that. Again, the argument would be not appreciating what happened, right? The seriousness of what happened, the crime that she ultimately was convicted of. How about this? Apparently, one of Davion's family members emailed the detective a screenshot of Shirilla's Instagram, which was later shown during Shirilla's sentencing hearing. And it says, quote, this is a screenshot from our daughter Divine's phone of comments, the social media post from Kenzie about her modeling career. This post is from later in the week after the accident while Kenzie was in the hospital. Divine believes that it was approximately 2 days after the accident. The post was commented on by both Kenzie and her mother talking about furthering her modeling career. We are extremely upset to see this post and felt it was very disrespectful to our family's loss and to Davion and Dom. It is sickening that someone could be so self-absorbed after causing the death of two people and destroying any hopes of their future plans. Now, when I read that report, I will tell you some of the most impactful legal aspects of this police report are about the actual car data. Was this an accident or was it not, right? So you go to the report, it says, quote, Ohio State Highway Patrol Sergeant Ryan Fox emailed me his analysis of the EDR data. Prior to the Camry entering the intersection, a loud screeching sound can be heard from the business surveillance system camera that records the approach and crash of the Camry. This loud screeching is likely the result of a steering input of the driver and the inability of the tires and friction of the roadway to overcome the forward momentum of the vehicle. The vehicle's tires are likely turned as requested by the steering input reported, but the vehicle is continuing more in its original forward trajectory. This likely indicates manipulation of the steering wheel immediately prior to entering the intersection. The brake light that was illuminated mere fractions of a second prior to impact. The system will activate the rear brake lights to indicate the possible slowing of the vehicle to other motorists, even if the driver is not pressing on the brake pedal. The extreme driver input for the vehicle prior to the collision, the brake light activation, is likely the result of the safety systems working to avoid the impact ahead or return the vehicle to a straight orientation for the direction of travel. This likely indicates that although the steering wheel was manipulated left and right, no braking was applied by the operator. So there you go. Some more things to think about in the Mackenzie Shirilla case as it's back in the conversation, it's back in the dialogue. We're learning more information. We'll stay on top of it here on Sidebar. That's all we have for you right now. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well. If you want to follow me, X, Instagram, my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you next time, everybody.